Hello, I'm Dr. Wilbury, and on today's episode, in our how-to corner, we're going to talk about how to get the big money as a new grad BT, right? And if all of you all are just now joining us, we've had two other episodes. This is a three-part series, and this is part three of the three-part series. So I'm glad that you're here, but please go back and catch the other two episodes because they have a bunch of information. And today's we're going to put the bow on top of everything. So let's get into it. So step one, man, is be real. Like, be real. Like, if you're asking for something that you don't quote unquote garner, like you're asking for something, but at the same time, you don't really, like garner that because you have nothing that actually ties you to the money. Like, I'm asking for this because I deserve this dollar, not because I just went to school, but because I know I deserve this dollar because I can do these things for you and help you do these things, right? Then you're not going to get the money you want. Right. We're trying to get the big money, right? So there are certain settings, like obviously people can do travel, home health, and some long-term acute cares and some specific, settings like maybe a hybrid setup. But the next question you have to ask about in the be real section is what can they pay you? Some places are scrapped for cash, some places are not. They're just talking, all right? Some places are really scrapped for cash. They can only pay you only so much. And it's because they have a business or they're private practice, or maybe they're in a situation where they're in a part of a bigger umbrella and they only will let you pay so much. So if you're asking for this place that only is going to pay you, 68 to start with, and because they're in a big box and this is what they do, market research. That's a bunch of garbage, by the way. The market research, that's ridiculous. Then they're not going to pay you that. Right. If you're in a place where they have a massive need, like they really need people to do this job, they need somebody who can do this job at that level without them having to hold your hand, a little bit of quote unquote help, but not really holding your hand, then you'll probably get the dollar you want, like the big money, right? And then the third part of be real. Where are you working? It's gonna be very hard to garner that type of money in the Dallas Fort Worth area, unless you're like in outside of it a little bit. Like maybe I go to Waxahachie, or maybe we're in possibly Mansfield somewhere. But it's just you have to be in a certain space, like a certain area, like not in the middle of nowhere, but middle of nowhere helps for sure. Like, but not in the middle of nowhere. Just being in a space where and they know that a lot of people don't really want to work here or have the 20, 30 minute commute, you know. So where are you working? All right. It's gonna be hard for you to garner that cash if you're working in a place where everybody wants to live. You can live in a place where everybody wants to live, but you don't have to work in a place where everybody wants to live. Got it? All right. Let's move on to the second part of how you can actually garner that big, big, big payday, right? It's the sign-on bonuses. A lot of times we're negotiating the hourly rate, but nobody negotiates the sign-on bonus. Like, duh, like negotiate the sign-on bonus. Like, just negotiate it. Like they're gonna offer you what 2K. You're like, man, listen, I really want this number. Like I have to do A, B, C, and D. If you're having to move somewhere, oh, this would be no brainer. If you're asking about 15, 20K to move, you're playing. Somebody's like, well, that's crazy, man. You can't ask for that. No. I've had an actual person and people actually who run clinics who've interviewed me, who've literally said, dude, you need to ask for about 20K to move. I'm like, well, if I move work for you, we will pay you 20K to move. Dead serious. I'm talking about me. I'm not talking about you. But it's because like that's a fee. Like I have to pay for a place to stay, getting all of my stuff there, having to be able to take care of my any things I have to leave from. If I have to cancel an actual contract with a excuse me, not contract, but a lease with the apartment, like I have a lot going on. So how much is the bonus? Like how much wiggle when you got there? If I'm getting offered 2,500 for the sign on, like come on, guys, like that's nothing in the sense of what you've worked for, as far as how long you've been in school and what you're going to need to be able to kind of take care of yourself. And then is it going to be part of your actual salary? I mean, your first check. If it is, it's going to be taxed, so it's not even going to be that. Just subtract about 30% off of it, I think, right? Depending on what state you're in. And then how long is the commitment for the sign-on bonus? You preferably want the commitment to only be negotiated for 1 year. That'll be optimal, but don't really get that a lot. 2 years max. I got a 1 year one. I was just fortunate, I think, just because I did enough interviews where I found what I needed and wanted and got that. But for you all, like, How long the sign-on bonus? No more than 2 years. Don't go three, two, two. 2 years is enough. And then after that, what's the next move? All right. Because after you get that sign on bonus, that's massive money. So maybe you got your actual rate up to a certain amount of money that first year, second year there. Do they progress you up as far as paying you more money? Is it based off of production? Not just like, hey, we only give people 1%, 2%, increase in pay. Or is it based off of what you've done? You need to ask that question like, hey, on the actual review, what is it based off of? Because, I want to make sure that I put my best foot forward to be able to secure what I want to stay here. Like I want to stay here long term. That's what you're trying to sell because that's what they want. They don't want to replace people every year. You're gonna have to put another sign-on bonus, have to get, commitments. Like so now they get in the place where the sign-on bonus commitment is smashed and they can't get anybody to take the job. So negotiate your sign-on bonus. Part three, right? Or step three rather. Would you pay you? Seriously, man, would you pay you? If you interviewed yourself with the confidence you have or the confidence you don't have, right? Would you pay you? Hmm? Seriously, man, that's a great thing to ask yourself. Did your interview state the case for what you're asking for? Because I ask you interview what you want. I don't really, like I said before, I don't volunteer what I want. I just don't. I say, hey, I want this number. And like, no. Like, what are you willing to offer me based off what you've seen in the interview? Do you think I'm a value? If you don't, cool. Like, that's great. They don't think you're a value. Nah, I think you've done not worth much. They're not say that, but you get it. Like, okay, cool. Be willing to walk away. If you get an interview where they say, hey man, we really think you fit here, we really would love to have you, then great. Now let's negotiate the actual number that's going to get you there. And the progression of that number year to year or the sign-on bonus. And then last but not least, man, are you even saying the things needed to be said in your interview? All right. When you get interviewed, people always have this conversation like, man, I answered the questions really well. No, you answered the questions, but you didn't say the things that need to be said. Did you say that, like, listen, I've worked in pretty much my settings in my clinical rotations where I had to run a clinic, you know, with, a little bit of oversight. My PT, he wanted me to do it for a week when he went on vacation. I handled it, had the staff there to help me and guide me. That's impressive. Like seriously, like what are you even saying? Are you saying things that are necessary to be able to get you what you're looking for? Because if you're not, why should I pay you? A lot of times we really, really, really don't realize that it's a certain percentage of people who actually garner this amount of money in their profession. You could be a part of that percentage and you can expand that percentage if everybody gets on the same page about what you're accepting, what you want, what you need, because the need is going up. It's not going down. You have to figure out how do we garner the amount of money we want. And in these three lessons, I told you, I've given you the blueprint. I've given you the pieces. It works. I've done it. I have people who've done it before me. People done it after me. It works. So some people don't work because they don't believe in themselves. Like they don't believe that they can garner that because they haven't taken time to sit and assess themselves and say, hey, I've done this thing when I was in school. I did this. I learned that. I was at this rotation. We don't do any of that. What we do is ask for something, ask our friend, hey, what they paying over there? Oh, I'm gonna go over there. Okay, I got that. Oh, I see I got a good job. No, versus saying, nah, man, let me just have a plan for this. And that's where we come into play at, right? Um, if you're looking for some people to be able to assess your situation, look at your job offers, look at your job interviewing skills, or help you work on those, you can contact us. We'll get you scheduled, we'll get you in, we'll get you registered and all that good stuff. And we'll look at you closely, right? Because our job is try to move profession forward. We want you to ask for the bigger dollar. It doesn't hurt us for you to get paid more money. I don't count your coins. You don't count my coins. We want you to be great and feel good about it. Feel good about asking about that dollar. A lot of times we don't have the ability to be able to stand in the mirror and say that we're worth this X amount of dollars. We don't. And then when we show up, we have this imposter syndrome. I don't think I can deliver on that. Do what you do and take care of yourself. Thank you, everybody who's who's pressed play, who showed up, man. We really appreciate you all. We've enjoyed doing this series. We're only going to do more of this if people request it. This is a pretty much a one-off. I always get asked these questions a lot from people, and I tend to share, my insight. And I say, hey, why not I just create 3 videos, pretty much put those things in a capsule, let you guys, use them, press play. And if you need more integral actual information to help you even reach that, we can negotiate your contracts for you. We could help you understand and talk about your bonus. We could find the places where you can talk about things realistically to be able to garner what you want. And then you know where to find us. Check the description, guys. You have any questions you want to ask us, you can DM us on Instagram. You can, contact us through a website we have. You can contact us through Facebook, whatever you get on and you feel comfortable with talking or speaking to people about, or speaking people through rather. And with that being said, like, subscribe, share, and thank you. Have a blessed one. We'll catch you in the next one.